Hey guys, this is Kirop speaking, and today we are back in Photoshop with the design and photo competition of the Lite Campaign V3.7 playthrough of low-tech sports, and the challenge I've put to you to design the cars that are being sold to plenty of unknowing customers, and mostly willing customers, though, although there are exceptions. There are a few unwilling ones, too. We don't talk about those, though, not in the marketing material, at least. So, what we are doing today is taking a look at the 11 remaining entries for the Phobos. That is the fourth car. Is it the fourth car already? Let me check my spreadsheet. It is the fourth car, indeed. 73 or something it came out. It was designed. And we are starting by looking at Moon's entry. And that is a big FU to full screen it. Oh, it's an awkward resolution, so we have to look at it like this. Alright, so what do we have here? The design. Okay. It's quite squarish. I don't know why there are so many vents on the front. A little awkward, I would say. Maybe with just the central ones, the design felt a little off balance, a little too central to the car. But I don't know if this is a good solution to that. No, it has eyes. Okay. Do we have... pop-up headlights. So these would be hidden when the lights are up. Alright, cool. And what more do we have? Pretty nice design, squarish design. Yeah, I think it's fitting with the style overall. Quite nice. I'm just not sure, like this part of the front is really nice. I like it. There's a lot going on, maybe a touch too much, but it's nicely aligned and so on. Apart from those edges, maybe? But other than that, looking good. I think that subscribes it. Yes, you need to subscribe to the channel. Now, this describes this car pretty well. I like what you did here. Very nice touch. Continuing the line in an inverted way. Quite cool. Yeah, that's a good design. I like it. It's a 6. And now for the picture. The old car driving away towards the sunset. Very nice thematic thing you did there. And then this car driving against the wall of dicks that is just off screen. I can't paint off screen. There we have a dick. It's right over there. And we can't see it. That's the horror of the whole thing. So yeah, driving into the wall of dicks, not what you want to do necessarily. This creates a lot of unsettledness in the image when you have the main character of the image just being so close to the edge and facing out of the image. Uncertainty is the word. Uncertainty, that's what's being created. The direction of the car and how you've posed it, the lighting, all good. I like it. The scene itself, also pretty cool. The placement of the sun, almost, as you can see there, almost central. It's a few pixels off. I can forgive you that. That's very OCD of me to see that. But yeah, this one doesn't show the rear of this car, of course, but I like it that you have this thematic approach. What would work better is if you changed if you weren't driving in New Zealand and instead in the US. So put this car here, there, zoom out a little bit, or maybe have a bit of different, like be a little further away so that this one can take this curve, goes along that, but has plenty of room to look into this direction. And then this car is driving over there into the sunset. That gives you a nice rotation going, but in a more healthy direction. Anyway, other than that, apart from these compositional technicalities, I think this is a pretty well lit and set in scene photo. So it's also a good one. Yeah, it's a 6 for you. And the next one is by MGR99. After a very, very well-designed previous entry, but a completely mind-fuckingly weirdly composited picture as an entry, He's back to strike. And that is, with this creation, I have to say I love this. I love this butt. Look at that. How can you not love this butt? It looks sporty. It looks out there. It has some nice touches like this. The extra, the extra vents over here, very nicely placed. Down here, 3, 4, 4, 3. Nicely done. Some badging over here, the Phobos. Number plate perfectly fits in there. Nice choice of color, especially for the scene. Yeah, it just works. Very well done. I think this is, despite it being so busy, the parts all feel like they should be there. So I really like it. Well done, well done. Strong lines, of course, just throughout. This looks sporty. This looks sporty as fuck. Yeah, looks pretty fast too. But one thing, oh, well, no, that's picture thing. Yeah, design. Yeah, that's at least a 7. A little bit more. I think this is really good. 7.5? I think that's a 7.5. And now for the picture. Let's see. So, first thing I notice is that it's overall really good. Now, the lighting is correct for the compositing. It looks like you've done compositing again. This kind of lighting on the back you don't get by just taking the picture straight up. The sky is a little blown out, but that doesn't really matter in this case, because most of the picture, and where it matters the most, is everything is very nicely lit. I love the tonalities, the shades on the car. This is beautiful, this area here. Really well done. Some cloud detail visible here in the reflections, even though they shouldn't be, but that is Automation's doing, not yours. And now let's talk about the motion blur. It doesn't seem quite right, and I'm not sure what it is. Let me zoom in. Let me scroll around and see if we can figure that out. Yeah, okay. So, look at this. This looks like the motion blur is going that direction. So now let's zoom out. That is not the direction of driving for the car. Have you placed your point of, what is it called, the escape point or something? That needs to be placed right there to make it look right. I'm not sure you have done that. It's a little odd because you wouldn't seem like the person to forget that. So is there something else going on, something weird? But this, like, look at it. Now this is definitely blurred in this direction, isn't it? Like, you see lots of structures that are pointing exactly that way everywhere. Look at that. Yeah, no, this is definitely wrong. So I think that kind of destroys the image, because it makes the car not connect with the actual road. Like, the road doesn't move that way. That's not how it works. The road will be moving, of course, exactly from this point where the car is moving towards the car. There we go. Like that, but straighter. And yeah, that makes that the car looks a little floaty. And that's a shame, because the image is really good otherwise. Let me recenter this somehow. There we go. All right. Cool. Yeah, otherwise, everything in this picture is really good. It's just that the car is disconnected from the scene itself. I love the lighting. I love the scene. It's really cool driving to the sun. And with that, look at this. But you could say, but Kira, the car is so close to the border. Well, it doesn't fucking matter if the car is... Oh, well, it does matter. That is still a healthy gap. If the car is moving in the right direction where there's more space in the image, then that isn't a problem. It still looks like a very settled picture. I wouldn't mind the car being slightly further in, but you didn't distort the image any from like very wide angle or something, and that makes it still perfectly adequate. I like it. So if you had fixed this, I think the direction of the blur, if that wasn't this, but rather the appropriate one, like this direction, then I think this would have been an 8. Like this, it's not. It's still very good, but not more than that. It's a 7. So, well done. And this tiny, it's just one little setting. Damn it. So frustrating. And next up, we have a Nikon B7. Let's have a look. Double FU. And here we zoom in. Design. 80s. I mean, it's coming out in the late 70s, so I can give you that. It would be a popular car in the 80s. And do I like this? The answer is no, but I'm trying to find out why. So let me try to be as accurate as possible. Well, the light of course, on the car doesn't help sell it as something that is real or even realistic. But that is photo stuff and not design stuff. I don't quite like this inset googly eyes headlights. The vent over here in the bonnet seems a little awkward, a little off, very squarish, and it isn't in any particular spot. It's just like, oh, we need a vent somewhere. Okay, let's put it there. Not sure why you placed it there. This is nicely detailed. That's good. Well done. And I think the front really looks good. But the angle you've chosen here for the car doesn't work for me. This looks like you're extremely far away and then have zoomed in a lot, like super high focal length. But that is a photo thing. So, let's not talk about photo things. The rear, yeah, seems standard enough. You seem to have everything on the car. I can't. This look isn't great. I think it's more of a photo issue than it's a design issue. Apart from maybe the headlights, they are a little odd, and the vent. Everything else seems to be in place. I'm hesitant to give this any worse than a 5 because it has all the things it needs, and there seems to be some decent design going on in the front. It's just hard to tell with everything else being a little weird. So yeah, let me give you a 5 there. All right, design. No, not design. Photo design. The photo itself. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me because it's not nicely framed. It's a little awkward with the butt being right at the edge of the frame and the front almost touching the bottom. There is no breathing space anywhere. The angle is odd. It almost looks like a planar projection of an image, which you do get when you have infinite, infinite focal length, and then have a cutoff. I think that's the projection when it's perfectly planar, and it does look odd. It has a lack of perspective sense, and I don't think it does the design any favors either. I think this could have been looking really cool if you do a 3/4 view with a bit of more wide angle so that you see the grid disappearing in the distance. That way. Could have worked. The coloring, of course, is super odd in this, and it doesn't tell me much about the car. Just the highlighting being this neon blue from the sky is odd, of course, and I just don't see the image working that way. Yeah, I don't think this gets more than a 3. I'm really not a fan of it. But is it worse than the 3.5s we've seen so far? Let me go back a little sec, and because that was in the last episode, which is a few days ago, I just want to compare very quick. So this is a 3.5. Of course, not with the cross and stuff. So I think this image is still better than a 3.5 then. Yeah, it's probably a 4 then. Alright, let's give you a 4. There are some interesting aspects to it. The planar projection sometimes can work. So you found a technique that might work in future if used more appropriately. Anyway, and next up is an entry by a new contestant, and that is Nacho or Nacho or Nacho, whatever it is. And that new contestant has brought to us something that looks quite fancy. Let's have a look. It looks very potato-y too, but that's a Why is it looking so potato-y? Is it because it's focused on the back car? Like, pro tip of the day, you can just increase the f-stop, the focal, the aperture. You can just increase that value and basically have everything sharp in the frame. And well, it should be sharp on here as well as there. Because here the image looks fantastic. But let's talk about photo stuff afterwards. The design, I think that works. That looks really sporty. It's nice. Some good attitude. I like the rear. Some good lines. Has everything to it. Nice badging there. I'm not so sure about this one. I would have left it out. That's an element that just doesn't fit the car really well. Maybe you could have put it on top. Or maybe like LS or something. Like so that it still looks somewhat symmetrical. Then this is looking odd. But other than that, it's a nice design. Really digging it. And it's also the choice of color fits spot on in the scene. This would have been such a good fuck. You guys, if I had your design skills, I would be taking so good photos. Anyway, this is a really good design. I love it. Actually love it. Is it as good as an 8? This is a great design. I love the simplicity to it, and this is a little overdone. Okay, I'm trying to now nitpick and find flaws so that I can see if I can argue myself to something less than an 8. This is slightly odd, but not really. It's a little too large elementy here up here for these ridges going across. Other than that, the front looks really fancy. Yeah, I think there are enough elements that would lower its score a little bit. By a full point from an 8.5 to a 7.5. 7.5 still being amazingly strong. Especially a first time contender. Never seen you before. Yeah, that is super strong. Now for the image. Mate! No, oh shit. That was the wrong undo. That was my my spreadsheet undo. So, undo. The image. Super strong setup. You've nailed the setup. That is really working nicely for the white mirror scene. And this stance and attitude of the car, like this in the distance with a bit of haze, this is so fucking cool. So well done. And then we have this part of the image, which is out of focus. Ah, no! This is the part where you enter with your view, with your eyes. It needs to be bam, in focus, and then the car naturally with strong lines leads to the front, and you see it from the front, and there it stands in the haze. Yeah, like super powerful attitude. Bam! It's right there. And you fucking missed the opportunity. Okay, let me say that if you had increased your F sharp, F sharp, not the musical note, no, your aperture number, your f-stop number, to something like 16, so that not only this is in focus, but also this one, I think this image would have been a straight 8. It's so strong. It's so simple and yet so strong. There is no dick in the sky move either. You have the subtle reflections here, and then you have the gradient going down like this, just giving it this odd sense, this odd feel in the picture. This space up here you're using to create mood, and you do so well with this gradient filter you've put there. And the weak reflections down here are spot on just to add this little bit of mystery. I think this is perfect. But that is such a missed opportunity. It really hurts. Yo, could you send this image? Like, could you retake it? The setup. I assume you have saved it as a preset. Could you resend that to me as a 4K image with a high f-stop number? I really want that. And also remove this LS from here. And then I will be happy with this. This could be a loading screen in Automation. This will be fucking epic. So good. But yeah. Yeah, there we have it. I think this would be a... Without that issue... Again. Shit. Without that issue, I think this would be an 8.5. Like this. It's no more than a 7.5, but man, it was so close. Such a good entry to start your submission with. So 7.5, 7.5, 15 total. Fantastic. And the next one is by Nalfar, and we put some Fs on you. And there we zoom in. Let's have a look at the design. It's not much to talk about. It's very simple. It's not bad in its simplicity, but it's not telling me much. I like the two-tone approach. It's well done. And the back is interesting, simple and interesting. The front is kind of boring, standard-ishy, and not very interesting. The sides are, well, whatever. Apart from the two-tone, which looks nice. What to say about it? The design. I don't think it's quite hitting the solid. I think it's a 4.5. The image, the Dutch angle, nope, that's not it. I'm terrible at drawing. Ah, that was almost right. Yeah, that is... I think that angle is a little overdoing it. A slight hint of it would have worked, I guess, to make it look a bit more dramatic, where the shot itself isn't very dramatic at all. The lighting is decent. The composition, it's a little busy. It's a little busy. Why do I have to see all of that? That's almost more interesting than the cars itself. It's like, oh, that's a nice slow landscape. Why are there some cars in front of it? I like to see more. What you try to do here, just a little hint. If you have a strong line going almost to the corner, try to put it in the corner so that it comes out from here, more like that. And that will make the image slightly stronger, because it's a stronger reference point for the eye that way, if it's on a diagonal through the image or curving off, especially when it's curving around one of the golden ratios. Let me try to place them. That will be around there, 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 and there. Roughly there. I think that's about right. No, rule of thirds. Nope. Don't do rule of thirds. I'm also sitting a little off to the side, so I think I placed them slightly too far to the right. All those crosses. But yeah, the rule of thirds is derived from the golden ratio, which is at a different spot. And it's like, what is it, 62% or 38% of the image. But yeah, that's theoretical talk. We don't do this here now. Anyway, well, I think the image itself is... Is it even solid? I think it's quite boring. Weird angle. Weird angle. Oh, I think it's underwhelming. But it's not terrible. It's like the design, really. So 4.5 to you. Oh, here we go. Me, one of the category winners. Let's see what you've designed here. Dual pop-up headlights. Interesting. I'm really not a fan of the front, of this top front. I am a fan of that part of the front. I think that looks strong. I am really a fan of the sides. Holy shit, the sides are amazing. That is great. This badging here, fantastic. Like under the vent, strong lines, double line. That's a pain in the ass to get working. Vents here, that setup just brilliant. The wing mirrors spot on. That just looks so stylish. The sides are... that is a 9. That's like crazy good. So simple, but so strong. And then I see what you did there. I think it's a good shot. It's a good shot, but it missed the Killrob likes it seal of approval. That was missed. I don't like it, because I think it is because these vents take so much of the focus away they kind of work more from the front. They look like holes in the car there. And that part, to me, doesn't look like it should have those kinds of holes. Yeah, not sure about the towering dual pop-ups. It's a cool design choice, that's for sure. Yeah, I like the look of the front down there. So overall, that's what I can see. I really don't like this, but it's I give it a bonus point for creativity, despite me not liking it, and that puts it from a 4 to a 5. This part, just this part, and combined with the very nice front here, that is, and a bit of bonus for creativity. I think that's a 6 there, and then that was a 9 from what I can see. And that puts us at a... yeah, right in the middle. Like if this is a 9 and this is a 6, then 7.5 is right in the middle. Alright, I'll give it a 7.5. So many 7.5s, what are people doing? 7.5? We didn't have one in the first part of the judging, though. No 7.5s there. So, 7.5. But now the image. I think you fall flat a little here. It looks like you didn't have quite enough time for the editing on this one. Or maybe you're out of the ideas. Looks like you did a decent job. Is this edited? No, it's unedited. Okay, so the game did a decent job at editing this for you. It looks like the cars themselves are highlighted a little bit. But it's because it's against the sun as well. You usually when you're taking photos against the sun or backlit, you do lack a bit of contrast. I don't think that's necessarily the case here, but I don't get the sense of speed in this image. I think if you had motion blurred it with this direction some more, well, it's not quite the right direction. It would be more that parallel with these lines, like this direction. If you had motion blurred it a bit more to give more of a sense of speed, I think this would have worked better. And the focus would have been more on the car instead of what is happening in the background, which can be a bit busy. By the way, I like the lighting in general. Yeah. Is it just a matter of that? I think it is. I would have liked to see some more speed going here. That's about it. Yeah, and you can always do a little bit of fine-tuning, of course, with editing, but not necessary, and it's not necessary here. Okay, how good or bad is it? I think the image itself is a little weak, but maybe that's just because I'm expecting more from you at this point. Well, I think the photo is still a good shot. I like the staggering of the cars. Seems about right. I like what you did here with the placement of this car. That it doesn't seem to be an even gap between them. It's quite important to not have, unless you have symmetries going somewhere, then that would work, but for that you would need 3 cars. Anyway, or 2 cars that are like heading straight towards you. Is it a good image? Yeah, I think it's more than solid. It's a 6. Ooh, okay. Oi, what's going on here? Oh man, okay. And this is wrong size too, isn't it? S31. At least it's the right aspect ratio. Alright, what did you do here? Design? I think the front looks quite nice. There's maybe a little bit of badging here. Maybe a bit of badging there. Either or, not both. Other than that, that is looking pretty good. Can't tell you anything about the rest. Don't even see windscreen wipers. Are they there? No, can't tell. What is there? Oh, that's a lamppost. Okay. Not that helpful. Quite like this design though. This stack of fixtures is looking good. The only thing that I can see is looking quite good, but there is very little for me to see here. So that is on the side of I have to downgrade this because I can see so few things in here. I can't tell how good the car design is. It does look promising. It very much does look promising, but I would have to see more. So I mean, the image will kill this entry anyway, so we can equally well say that, like, if with a bit of badging, this would be just looking at the front, this would be a 7 to 8. Like this, with so little visible, I have to give it a 6 only. But now the image. Oh man, oh, this is not good. This is not good. All right, you went for symmetry. You have partially gotten the symmetry. So everything what is even going on here? Is there post-editing blur? Let me see. Well, it doesn't tell me anything. So I assume it's edited. Okay. Look at this. So, this doesn't work. You have... No, it's not post-edited blur. This is automation blur. You have these parts, these edges, they're in focus. Why don't they draw anything? And why is this still looking like that? I don't get it. This is a very, very weird blur. That doesn't quite work. You would expect all the lines come out of this point, like far in the background, and then just radiate out from there. Like everything connected to this point. That would be the speed if it's going in this direction. But I really can't tell that is the case. Everything looks a little weird. Maybe it is. These lines are pointing in the right direction. These aren't. These are pointing to here. This is weird. Anyway, so there's something off. The composition, it looks like you were trying to do something symmetrical, but it doesn't quite work because the background you chose isn't symmetrical. And the blur is weird, and the lighting is... that thing is awful. Like someone has put a light bulb right up the car. Nah, it just doesn't work. All right, I think you get the point. This just doesn't quite work. So this is a... At least the car's in focus. At least the car's in focus. Is that a... Yeah, I think that's another 3.5. It's not awful enough. Is it a 4? Because something's in focus? You have some... Yeah, I think it's a 4. Is that a 4? So difficult. Micron P7... Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's a 4. And next up is the Stormy Nadir. Oh yes, look at his design. That is quite fancy. I don't quite like the front all that much. These very rounded edges, super many, like 3 edges. That is 3 edges you have going on. 1, 2, no, 3, 4. I think that's at least 1 too many. But the layout overall is quite nice. You have some pop-up indicators here. I think that works. I think that's an interesting approach. There's something a little bit too much going on here. Like you have these lines there. I don't want to paint over them. Right there on both sides, as well as the central one. And then the badging. I think there's a little bit too much going on there. But other than that, I think this works. The sides, quite nice. Quite nice, I like this. I like this design. The stripe going along the side. This is strong, I like it. One windscreen wiper. Yeah, sure, works. I think this is a good design. Despite me not quite liking this. Is it a 6.5? Yeah, I think so. I think this is 6.5. This is a little bit better than good. Just good. The sides are more like 7-ish, and I like the strong lines. It's just this quadruple lip thing that is, or quadruple, that's chromey lip thing that is off-putting to me a bit. Now the image. Solid. More than solid. It's a good one. I like the lighting. A nice warm touch to it. Has good highlighting on the car itself. This looks fancy. You have managed to really pull out the car as something that is standing out. It's working well. Scenery, quite good. Could be framing the car slightly better. It's a missed opportunity here that you have nicely framing here. Look at that. Look at that. There you have the frame. There you have the frame. It's coming down there, and then flop, it cuts into the car. Oh, now it touches the car. Oh shit, we fucked up the framing. So maybe you didn't think about that. It would have needed a slight amount of higher angle to look right with this background because of this framing thing. But I get that angle probably took preference over framing it perfectly in the background. So because you nailed the angle, I think this is a really good angle you are taking with the car. Also, I love the feel of direction in it. It's such a strong movement feel to it. Could even have been a little stronger, just a touch, not much. Otherwise, it's a really solid. It's a solid shot, mate. Like the Stormy Nadir. Yeah, good man. So what do we give you for that? It's a 7, I would think. Yeah, 7. It's a very good image. Yeah, it's a very good image. Well done. And next up is Sky High, with an edited version of the Phobos. And we have you, and there we go. Oh, now, okay. Where is this? What photo scene is this? What is this photo scene? Where do we have these rocks? Where do we have these rocks? I don't think I've seen them before, but they might exist somewhere in a factory scene or somewhere. I don't quite know. Can we spot something in the reflections that reminds me of an existing map? Maybe? No, I don't know. You can point out in the comments if this is a cheating bastard, or if this is all fine because you've used that in the like factory scene or something before. But let's talk about the design. I quite like it. Nice touch here with the pop-up headlights and the grey vents there. And then, in parallel, the only thing I dislike is that this thing here, like the edges of the big one, are wider than the edges of this. They should be the same size to look proper. But anyway, so that is a nice and squarish design on a somewhat rounded body. I think it works. Very nicely done with the lower half. This looks so real. This is awesome. Also the image that it's making that, but this is looking fantastic. Great design. Yeah, the side is good. Love this arrangement. Not sure about this one. That I think is unnecessary. And this one, I think a little bit of badging there could have done, or maybe the badging here instead of this vent. Yeah, I think that would have been good. And then just skip this one. Not needed. You have it at the front, or place it subtly so that it just peeks out at the rear. Other than that, I think it overall really good design. So I think this is very good. Overall, I think this is a very good design. That's a 7. Alright, so let's assume this is not a mod photo scene and you haven't cheated, and we somewhere have this in the game. And I think this could be somewhere. So I let the commenters decide on that, if you can take this score as yours or not. The photo itself, very nicely lit. It's all a little bit greenish tint because of the large greenish area to that side of the car. So the lower half of the car has this greenish tint. We've gone for the two-tone as well. It's not a greenish two-tone. The wheels look fantastic. Really, really good stuff. The lighting in the front, yeah, you can definitely see the shadow. It's not hidden in the shadows. You've pulled those out. And overall, just good lighting, good scene. The car is really filling the frame quite well without it looking too enclosed. I think you have a nicely settled image here. It's well done. It's well done. Background, Has some structure to it. It's not too busy. You've focused on the car nicely. It's a strong image. I think this is a 7. Well done. And next up is Slayer from Pluto. And we do some effing for you as well, sir. Let's take a look at the design. So pop-ups out. This is looking more 60s to me. Something in here is just screaming 60s. I don't know why that is necessarily. Maybe this... Can't really tell, but this is really saying 60s to me. I don't know why. And maybe it's because of the font here? It's nicely done. It's nicely done. Like the chromey bits and... Yeah. Nice design down here, but also looking like a little bit more fancy, a little bit more playful. Okay. Definitely not bad, but it's somehow not fitting. This, probably a pain in the ass to create. Not sure about... Oh, okay, I see. You have to mirror it, kind of mirror it there. Huh. Not a bad thought. I don't know if this fits this kind of design of the car, this purpose of the car. Nice chrome touch here along the trim. And yeah, this is all really 60s looking to me. The chromey bits and so on, and then the beige. Well, of course, the beige is also 80s. Hey, whoa. Quite looks nice on the rear. Looks like it has everything. It's not looking... It's looking out of place. Not bad, but out of place. As such, I think the image kind of saves it. The design itself is not that great. I think I'm going with a 5 point... Is it a 5.5 or a 5? I think it's... For the car, just... If you take this car, this design, and don't give me any context whatsoever, I would say, yeah, this is a pretty good design. That's a 6 or a 6.5. Because it's weird. It's a weird design, it's clever. Yeah, it's quite good. But in the context of things, I would subtract 1 point from that. That's a 5.5 to me. But now the image. I think this is beautiful. Well lit. That just angle you have in here, really good. It's just about the right angle you needed to give it a little bit of dynamics. Fucking hell, this word. I never can pronounce it. Dynamicism? Is that the word? No idea. Fucking hell. Anyway, it looks dynamic. Yes, Geralt, it looks dynamic. It looks dynamic enough because you just got this little bit of action angle in there. Very nicely chosen focus and lighting and framing. This is pretty strong. Like this bar going there, and the floor doing its thing. Just this, everything in here, in the middle. It's a nicely framed thing, and then pretty strong lines supporting it as well, like this one, and so on. This overall is a really great photo scene. Loving the colors as well. They really fit the car. Looks like it's such a friendly, positive image. I love it. I love the image. It's a really good shot. It just hurts a little that the car doesn't fit to its purpose. Okay. So the image is at least a 7. Is it more? I think it might be. The car, yeah, put a really nicely designed car in there, like OME's car or someone else's, and damn, you have a nice image there. Yeah, okay. Now this is a really good image. 7.5 for you, sir. That's a well taken one. Oh, okay. Last entry, Smon Smithy, unedited. How is this unedited if you have white borders around it, for fuck's sake? How, did you resize it or something, or cut it to pieces, and then that wouldn't count as editing? That's fair. That's fair. But why are there white borders on there? All right. So design. I can barely see the pop-ups. They're there. They're not missing. They just are pretty much invisible. It looks like a toy car. It doesn't look like a real thing. Maybe because toy cars tend to, if they are small, tend to have less detail on them. Because it's hard to make in such small, on such a small scale. Not liking the design as such. The rear isn't too bad. The front doesn't work for me. The rear isn't too bad. Double stack of lights. Big central light. You do have some asymmetric badging here again. The big pain in the ass badging, so to say. The offset number plate, yeah, kind of works. It's not offset in the front, and it's also fine. I guess you can switch things around. The sides are not spectacular. Kind of where I don't necessarily like the framing this thing does, or it looks like it doesn't belong there. Well, a little underwhelming in design. Is it solid there? Is it a solid design? It has most of the parts. There's also lots of good things on it. Like if you just look at the like this part of the car, like just the top of it, that's good. It's good stuff. Like the rest, like this front, yeah, not a fan. The sides, nah, not a fan. The rear, yeah, it's okay. The parts I dislike are less than a 5. The parts I do like are quite a bit more than a 5. So I think I'm settling with a 5. And the image, orange, in a very cold environment. Everything is in focus. A little bit weird light. It's really just 2 colors in this image. Yeah, not so much a fan of it. It is looking odd. I don't necessarily like the composition either, although it's not bad. Yeah, okay, now it's no more than a solid shot. I think it could work with a bit of different setup. If you get a bit more dynamics in here. Oh, look, I avoided the word I can't pronounce. And put this rear wheel of the car like there. And then this front one like there, so that it's a bit more angled. And then keep this car at a little bit of a sharper angle. Or make it go at a bit of a sharper angle. This at a bit more shallow angle. I think this could work a bit better. Because the rear of the car is stronger than the front for sure. The sides don't suck that much. I think that could have worked. Anyway, it's not mind-blowing, is it? So, it's also kind of solid. So 5-5, really ending on a little bit of a boring entry. But it's still solid. So, well done on that, on being solid. And that was it for this round. And with it, we do have a winner. We do have a winner. And it was... there was plenty of competition today that just barely missed the mark. Just barely missed the mark. And today's winner is Esdom. The 3rd win in 4 categories. And that was a total score of 16. And then we have Infinity with a score of 15. And we do have another. Oh yeah. Another one. Sharing 2nd place. Nacho or Cutie. Yeah, damn you. That name. And damn you, that image. Why isn't it sharp? Beautifully done. Alright, yeah, very well deserved. What other place? Yeah, that's the top 3. So, 16, 15, 15, and then there were 2 14.5s, 114 there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, really strong competition this time around. But the competition needs to just iron out those small mistakes to really compete, because there certainly were contenders. Our newcomer here would have taken it, it looks like. Would have taken it with a really strong photo. Could have taken it. And with a slightly changed design. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.